So please remind me to never drink the water when I'm at school, because apparently there is something in the water that is making my kids absolutely crazy. Good morning, it is Tuesday, January 17th. I'm happy I do these vlogs because I think otherwise I'd have no idea what day it was whatsoever. But it's about 7:30 right now and I'm headed to school. I want it to be known that I attempted to get up early this morning and get to school early so I could have some extra time just to relax before my kids came. I got up at 6:30 and somehow here we are still leaving at 7:30. I have no idea why it took me so long to get ready this morning. I was just moving super slow. So same time as usual, I'm leaving. I am gonna get coffee because I'm gonna make up for last Friday when I spilt mine. I'm gonna get an iced vanilla latte again and I'm gonna enjoy it for as long as I can before my kids come in. So I will catch up with you guys once I get to school.
Good morning, may I take it, please?
Good morning, can I get a medium iced vanilla latte, please? So I'm gonna drink most of this on the way to school just in case I drop it. So I did want to show you all my lesson planning binder again because in my last vlog I showed you these tabbed page protectors that I got off of Amazon. So I really like them because they are really thick, which makes me feel like they're gonna hold up really well. I was nervous because the tabs were kind of bent down. So I tried to flatten them out and it didn't really work. But once I actually put them in the binder, I realized that they're actually longer than the binder. So it's actually a good thing that they're kind of tilted down. I can still see all of the tabs pretty easily, but that way they don't get damaged. And I just quickly made up these tabs on PowerPoint and then printed them out and inserted them. All right, so it's now my lunchtime. It's about 12:15. The morning actually went by pretty quickly because my kids were testing for an hour, so we didn't have science or social studies. And we had indoor recess because it's been raining off and on, so I got all of the Tuesday folders stuffed, which is good because that means I don't have to do that during my special time. So I think during my special time, I'm gonna try to do a little bit of planning and hopefully get some things done for next week, although I always say that and it never actually happens. But I did decide to stay late tonight because I haven't stayed late in a while. And I need to get my library finished up. I have those ridiculous stacks of books that are up there on that counter that I need to get sorted and put into my library. It's been driving me nuts and I think I'll feel a lot better when it's actually done. So I am gonna stay late tonight and get that done. But for now, I'm gonna go eat because I'm starving and I will catch up with you guys when my kids go to special. All right, so it's about 2:20. I just took my class to PE. Unfortunately, I had to spend the first part of my planning time calling a parent of a student who has decided to take nothing seriously. So now, with the time that I have left, I'm gonna grade their vocabulary quizzes and get them put in the grade book, and I'm gonna update my student information sheets that I keep in my data binder. Thankfully, the test they took this morning, it gives us their score right away, so I'm gonna go ahead and update that before I forget. So in case you guys haven't seen it, this is what my data form looks like. This is in my TPT store, and it is editable, so you can change all of these titles and all the text that's in any of these squares. So I had to quickly make mine up for my new student, so I just had to quickly type their name in here, school, and year, and then all I had to do was type in the headings for each one of these boxes and then type in some of the information on the side, and I had the whole data sheet ready to go in about 3 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead now and record this student's information that I have from before they came to my classroom, and I'll add in their assessment that they took today. It's the end of the day and it did not come a moment too soon. My kids made me want to pull my hair out today, and I mean that as lovingly as possible, but some of them just continually pushed my buttons all day long, and you know what? They're really good at it, and I hate to admit it, but oh my gosh, I had no patience whatsoever today, and I yelled, and I hate to yell, but I yelled, and that's about where I am right now in life. So it's after school, it's like 4 o'clock, all my kids are dismissed, thank goodness. Again, I mean as lovingly as possible, but I need to get all of these books labeled and put in my library so that I can stop staring at them because they're driving me absolutely nuts. So I'm gonna go pop some popcorn as motivation, and then I will catch up with you guys after that. This is the current view of my back table. So I took a lot of the chapter books and I just put them into piles so that I can easily label them. These are oddball books that I'm trying to figure out how to label. I've got my laptop so I can watch Netflix or Hulu or YouTube or something to make the time fly by faster. And then I'm working on punching out the rest of these labels. So these are from my library label pack in my TPT store. I'll put the link to it in the description. But these are the labels that go on the front corner of the book, so that way the students can match it to the symbol that's on the label on the actual book basket. So it comes on a full page like this. I just print them on regular printer paper. I cut them into strips and then I hole punch them with a 3/4 inch hole punch. So I'm going ahead and getting the rest of these punched out, and then I just store them by category in a plastic baggie, and I just label it with a Sharpie. So I need to get those punched out. I need to label all of these books, and then I also have these. I'm pretty sure these are all books that I keep to myself. My kids are not allowed to use them, so I just need to put those away. And then these are a bunch of like Ripley's Believe It or Not, Guinness Book of World Records, and the Look and Find books. I am going to put these away for just indoor recess because I have kids that are trying to read them during Read to Self, and that's just not flying. So I'm going to put them away so that my kids can only have them during indoor recess. So I'm going to give some advice to anyone who is a new teacher or is in college and is going to be a teacher so that you do not make the same mistake that I did. So I recommend really thinking about how you want to label your classroom library books before you start doing it, because had I thought this out, it would not have been this big of a deal. So basically, I came up with this colored system where each category was going to have a different combination of colors, and the students had to match these stickers to the sticker on the bin, which sounds good in theory. And I also put them on the side so that they could match them. You can see this orange one already fell off, so they did not stay on. I don't recommend just putting regular stickers on because I find over time they come off. So then I had the bright idea to keep the stickers on but use tape and just put tape over them, which worked well. I mean, it kept them on really well, but I just don't feel like these colors were the best system whatsoever. So now, as I go through and relabel them, I have to take off all of these in order to put my new symbols on there, which I really like these just because they're very clean and simple and they coordinate with the books. But this hot mess of peeling off the tape and the stickers is just horrible. So as I am putting away books, I thought I would quickly show you guys how I store my teacher read-alouds. So these are books that I use for teaching that I don't let my kids use. So I like to store these in those iris cases. This is also how I store my Rooted in Reading packs. So these cases come from Michael's, and I only buy them on sale. Typically, I think the cheapest I've ever found them is 4 for $10, so about $2.50 a piece. But I like that they're a nice big square, so they fit all kinds of different sizes and shapes of books. And then they are pretty deep, so they do hold a lot of books. So obviously I don't have them labeled or anything. Ideally I should. That's one of the things I'd love to get around to, but right now they're not labeled. But this one has all of my books that I use at the beginning or the end of the year. This has all of my holiday books. This one has all my science books, and I really need to get another bin because I have a ton of those. This is all of my social studies books, which it's really sad that that's all that I have. These are math books that I use, and then this is just kind of anything else. So this is where I keep all of my Dr. Seuss books that I get out for Read Across America Day. And then these are just other random read-alouds that I'll do throughout the year. I may only use the book for like 1 or 2 lessons, so I just keep them in here. So it's a little bit after 6, and apparently I am done for the day because I ran out of tape. So note to self, I need to get more of that tonight. So this is what I'm left with, and I know it doesn't look great, but it is actually really, really good considering I kept going to my library and bringing more books over that I found that weren't labeled. So the problem with most of these is that I do not have the labels printed, so I need to go print those out. That'll be one of my goals to get done tonight. Get those punched out so I can label these tomorrow. I've got to get more tape though. However, if we could just admire this for a moment, because I think this is the cleanest my back counter has been since the beginning of school. I have not been able to use this section of countertop in literally months. So I'm really happy to have that back. And now I just got to take care of this. So here's the current state of my classroom. This is my back table that I use to store all my guided reading stuff and my math group. So lesson plans and all the materials are set up for my morning math group. My students' tables aren't like horrible. They're not great. They're really dirty, but they're not horrible. So my desk looks good. I am leaving my lesson planning binder here because I don't need to do anything with it tonight, and I don't feel like carrying it home. These are all of the papers I'm using tomorrow, so I just have them all in order stacked on top of each other to keep me nice and organized, and then the rest of my desk is clean, and thankfully my classwork bin is clean as well. All right, so it's about 6:15 and I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. And I decided I'm not gonna put any pressure on myself for tonight. As long as I get those library labels printed and hole punched so that I can get those done tomorrow, I'll be happy. And you know what, if I lesson plan for next week, great. If I work on stuff for TPT, great. But if not, it's okay. I'm not gonna put pressure on myself and force myself to go home and do work when I've worked hard all day. So I'm just gonna go home, see how I feel, but I will update you guys sometime before I go to bed. All right, so here's where we're at with things right now. It's about 7:30 and I've been home for roughly 45 minutes. Ever since I got home, actually ever since I got in the car to come home, I've just been feeling super negative. Like I'm just in one of those moods where I feel like complaining and I'm focusing on all the bad things rather than the good things. And I don't want to project that onto you guys because while I want to be open and transparent with you guys, I'm just in a crappy mood and I feel like I need to go and release that somehow. So technically it's my off day from the gym. I don't have a scheduled lift. But I'm gonna go and I'm gonna lift anyway because for me that is my therapy. That's what's gonna make me feel better. Now, if I get home and I'm still feeling this way, then I will probably record some kind of rant. But I'm hoping that by the time I get home, I'll be feeling a lot more positive. So I will catch up with you guys sometime when I get back. All right, so we're gonna do this update. It's about 10 o'clock. I got home from the gym around 9:30 and I went ahead and showered. So here I am, 10 o'clock. I still need to eat dinner. I still need to print out stuff for my library, but we'll get it done. Here's my new perspective on things. Today was a bad day. Today was a really bad day. But that does not make me a bad teacher. That does not make my students bad students. It was a bad day, and that's not a bad thing. That's how I'm going to get better as a teacher. That's how I'm going to improve and strengthen my weaknesses. Hi, cat. Oh. So I need to do some reflection. I need to figure out why this is happening and how I can prevent it from happening in the future. It's not my students' job to learn the way that I teach. It's my job to teach the way that they learn. So I need to figure out what's not working, how to fix it, and what I'm going to do differently to prevent this from happening. That being said, I think today was one of those days where the reality of teaching did not match up to the expectations. And, you know, you picture how you think teaching is going to be when you're in college and even before that. And then you get in the classroom and you realize that that's not always the case. In fact, a lot of times it's not always the case. But on the opposite end of the spectrum, there are so many days that are so much more rewarding and make me such a happier person than I ever even imagined. So it all balances out. And there's bad days, there's really bad days, there's so many good days, and they completely outnumber the bad ones. And I just have to focus on how lucky I am to have my students, because when I really come down and think about it, I do have a great group of students. I am lucky to be their teacher. I will always think that I'm lucky to be the teacher of any of my students. And all I can hope is that I'm doing the best job that I can for them. And I think what's important is when you have days like this, it's how you react to it. So I can either let it hold me down and make me not want to put in effort and make me not want to get better and not care if I get better. Or I can use it as motivation to improve, to strengthen my weaknesses, to get better at whatever it is that I'm not so good at that's causing this to happen. And I think that's what's important, is realizing that yes, it was a bad day, but if I didn't care this much, I wouldn't be a good teacher. So the fact that I do care and it does affect me this much shows that I care about my students. I truly want the best for them, and at the end of the day, that's really all that matters. So I'm gonna go eat because I'm very, very hungry. I'm gonna go print out the stuff for my library that I need, and I'm gonna get in bed early, because that's one little thing that I can do, is get more sleep, because that makes me a happier person and a more patient person. So I'm gonna try to be asleep by midnight, which for me is revolutionary, never happens, but we will see. I will catch up with you in the morning, and hopefully tomorrow will be a better day. Good morning. It is Wednesday, January 18th. It's about 7:20. Which is earlier than I usually leave, because I do have my PLC meeting this morning at 7:45. I did not get to sleep before midnight last night, but I was in bed before midnight, which for me is really, really good. I probably fell asleep around 12:30ish, which is a good hour and a half earlier than usual. So I wasn't super tired this morning, which is good. I am gonna get coffee on my way, but I will catch up with you guys once I get to school. So I know this is really sad, but it's 2:30 and this is the first chance I've had to vlog all day. So when I got to school, I only had about 5 minutes before my PLC meeting, so I wasn't able to vlog at all. I had to quickly get my computer set up and then head up to my meeting. But the good news is during my PLC time, I did get a little bit of planning done for next week. And next week's gonna be pretty easy to plan because we only have kids for 3 of the days. We have kids Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday and Friday are professional days. So that makes my lesson planning a lot easier. Plus, there's already stuff from this week that we're just not getting through that will get pushed into next week. So that made me feel really good. And then during lunch today, I couldn't vlog because I had a student with me for lunch bunch because he doesn't eat in the cafeteria and the person he usually eats with was covering another class. So I had him in my room during lunch and it's just now my special time at 2:30. So during this half an hour, I'm going to get some things graded that my students did during Daily 5 today, and I'm gonna get stuff set up for my small groups that I have for phonics and math for tomorrow because I'm not gonna stay late after school. I'm gonna leave as soon as I can. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to get those done now, and then I will catch up with you guys before I leave. So I did get the rest of my library labels printed out last night, and I got almost all of them punched out today during guidance. So I do have to finish those. These ones are all punched out. So I just have this small stack of books that are left for me to label. And then I did print out the new cards that actually go on my book bins because the ones I have on there right now are from the beginning of the year, and I ended up changing some of the symbols when I actually posted it to TPT. So I do need to get those hung up, but if I don't get it done today, it's not the end of the world. So just when you think your students are actually reading to self, you realize that they are playing zoo with your book buddies. All right, so realistically, I have 2 minutes left of my planning. I got nothing graded. I ended up just responding to parent messages and emails and got nothing else done. All right, so it's about 4 o'clock. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. I did not get more planning done for next week, and I didn't get all of the books labeled for my library, but it's okay. All my grading's done, my desk is clean, I sent out messages to parents, so for me, that's good enough. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here so that I can get to the gym, but I did wanna tell you guys, because I didn't have a chance to tell you earlier today, I did get to meet with my vice principal this morning about my observation from 2 weeks ago, and it went really well. I obviously was freaking out way more than I needed to, which I know happens and I know that I do that, but basically in our observations there's 4 different categories. There's ineffective, developing, effective, and highly effective. So all of mine were in either effective or highly effective. And for me, what matters the most actually is my classroom environment. Like personally, that's what I take the most heart to, just because the instruction and all that, like it's hit or miss. And ultimately, I care about making my students good people and having a respectful environment where everyone feels welcome. So that was all highly effective for me. So that was really good. It wasn't great, and I think the reason that I was upset is just because I personally let myself down, that I knew it wasn't the best lesson, but obviously to her it was okay, so I'll take it. I also got to have my mid-year evaluation. Because I'm not tenured yet, I've only been teaching, this is my 3rd year, so I do still have mid-year evaluations, and that went all really well as well. They were all in effective and highly effective. So again, that makes me really happy. Again, all of my classroom environment ones were all in highly effective, and ultimately that's what I care the most about, just personally. I think instruction-wise, everything is always changing and the expectations are changing, and it's really hard to like stay on top of all that. So for me to have the good classroom environment and the mutual respect among my students matters to me. So I will take it. I'm gonna get out of here. I will catch up with you guys sometime tonight. All right, give it to him. So when I have said before that Amazon Prime and I are best friends, there was literally zero exaggeration. So I ordered these on Monday night because I wanted to have sets of magnetic letters for my students to use during guided reading. I personally have a set that I display for them when we're doing word work at guided reading, but I wanted my kids to each have their own set to be able to use and manipulate themselves. So I ordered these. Now I only ordered 5 packs because that's all it would let me order at a time, which is kind of sad. So I'm gonna have to order another pack. But I really, really like these magnetic letters because the shapes of them are the correct way to form the letters. A lot of magnetic letters, the shape of the letters will look like a font, which isn't good for some of your students that struggle with identifying the letters. So I got 5 sets of these magnets, and then this is an organizer that I got, and I will put both of these in my Amazon store for you probably under Daily 5 resources. What I'm going to do is I'm going to store them on a cookie sheet, and I'm going to print out a guide so my students know where to put the letters, and then each one of these compartments will hold a cookie sheet, and then down here I'm just going to store some extra paper for guided reading. So once I get this set up in my classroom tomorrow, I'll show you guys what it looks like. Good morning. It's Thursday, January 19th. I am super tired. I'm not even going to lie or try to hide it. I didn't vlog last night like I said I would, because by the time I went to the gym and came home and ate dinner and showered, it was like 9 o'clock and I was just kind of done. So I did get up early. I got up at like 6:15, which is way too early for me. And the reason I got up early is because I knew that I needed to set up my magnetic letters at school. Plus, since I didn't do anything last night, I needed to kind of look over my lesson plans and just refresh myself with it. So it's a little bit before 7 o'clock right now. I'm going to head to school. I am going to get coffee on the way, and I will catch up with you guys once I get there. One good thing is today is a casual day on a Thursday, which is super, super rare. So I am wearing my Maryland teacher shirt, and this is from Teaching is a Royal Adventure. I'll put the link down in the description. So you've probably heard me talk before about how my room gets super, super hot because for whatever reason, all the heat goes to my classroom. So usually I open the windows and it helps a little bit. But apparently last night I forgot to close my windows and now it's absolutely freezing in my room. Yeah, not the best idea I've ever had. All right, so this is how I am storing my magnetic letters on my cookie trays. Again, these cookie trays came from Dollar Tree, and this letter template is from Just a Primary Girl. I think it's $2 in her store, and there's a couple different options. So I printed it on regular printer paper rather than cardstock so that it's not as thick and the magnetic letters can still stick. And then I trimmed down the edges to make it fit nicely in the cookie tray. And I really like this so that my students know where to put their letters back. And then I just put the extra vowels over on this side. The only thing that's bothering me is this F, because these letter sets only have one F. So we'll see. I'm going to try to just ignore it, but I might end up making my own templates. And then these are just the extra letters that did not fit on the cookie tray, and I'm just going to store those away. All right, so here the letters are stored. What I like about this organizer is it does have 6 slots, and some of my groups do have 6 students. So I am going to order another thing of magnetic letters and get another cookie tray so that I can have 6 of them. And then I'm going to use this under part for paper that I used during guided reading. But I really like that this doesn't take up a ton of space, and it'll be really easy for my students to grab when they need them for group. So it's finally lunchtime and I am still so exhausted. I haven't woken up yet. I've only had half of my coffee today, so that's probably why, as you can see right there. I'm gonna try to drink it during my lunch so that I get some kind of boost this afternoon, because I feel like I'm in survival mode right now until the end of the day so I can go home and get some sleep, because I am just absolutely exhausted. I have no idea why. All right, so I have like 1 minute to record this before I have to go get my class. My planning time is almost over, and all I got done was picking out books for my guided reading groups. I didn't even plan the lessons. All I did was pick out the books, and that's all I'm gonna get done because I have no energy. I'm super frustrated at my kids that are being disrespectful. 2 main offenders, Chuckles, who thinks everything is funny, including getting in trouble, and Knuckles, who is a knucklehead, hence the nickname. I'm super frustrated because I have no support from the parents. I've tried everything I can do to hold them accountable for their actions, and they just don't care, and it doesn't make a difference. And I'm just super frustrated right now. And that's the bad thing about teaching at a Title I school, is you don't have a lot of parental support, and your kids don't have good home lives, and they come in with so much baggage, and it's like fighting a losing battle, it feels like. And I mean, I know I'm still making a difference in their lives, but I feel like I'm not, and I feel like I am just fighting a losing battle. So I have to go get my class. I will catch up with you guys before I leave at some point. I'm gonna try to get my room cleaned up before I leave, because this is the current state of my back counter, my guided reading table. So I need to get that taken care of, but I have to go get my class, so I will catch up with you guys after. So I guess this is kind of a bad news, good news situation. Bad news, one of my students just completely left their agenda in my library. Good news is, at least they were copying down their words from their literature circle book and looking it up in the dictionary, so I guess I can't complain. So somehow I did make it to the end of the day, but I have no words. I can't even vlog because I'm so tired. I can't form coherent sentences or thoughts right now. But my room is a mess, as you can tell by my back counter and my book bins. I didn't even get anything cleaned up during dismissal like I usually do. I just kind of sat there and tried to survive until all of my kids were gone. And I'm gonna get out of here. I'm not gonna stay and clean up. I'm not gonna worry about lesson planning for next week. Right now, I have to worry about me and I have to put myself first. And right now, I just feel tired and stressed and overwhelmed and frustrated, and I need to go somewhere other than here. I need to clear my head. I need to put myself first and do something for me that's gonna make me feel good and not feel guilty about it. So I'm gonna go to the gym and I'm gonna go to trivia tonight, and I'm not gonna think about school. I say that and I know it's not true, but I'm gonna try not to think about school because right now I'm just feeling very burnt out and I feel like I'm hitting a wall. And I don't know why I'm hitting a wall because we've had a lot of days off lately. We've had snow days. We had Monday off for Martin Luther King Day. We have professional days next week. And for some reason, I still am just, something's not clicking. So I don't know what it is. And I apologize if you were watching this vlog hoping to get good ideas or motivation or something, because I am obviously not providing that in this vlog at all, but you guys said you wanted to see what it's really like, and this is what I'm currently going through. So I apologize if this wasn't what you expected, but at the same time, I don't apologize because this is currently what I'm dealing with. And to be completely honest, if you can't already tell, I'm not very good at handling things when I get overwhelmed, and I get overwhelmed easily because I put a lot on myself. So I'm trying to take a step back and I'm trying to figure out the best way to handle it. And I think for me right now is just leaving this, putting my perfectionism aside, not cleaning up everything, not having everything being perfect, and being okay with that. So I'm gonna get out of here. I will either catch up with you guys sometime tonight or tomorrow morning. We'll see. I've been waiting all week to be able to say this. It is Friday, finally, January the 20th. I did not vlog last night because I got home and I fell asleep. And I took a nap, which I absolutely never do, but obviously my body needed sleep. And then I'm extremely grateful because when I woke up, my boyfriend had got me a pizza, which made me feel even better. So the moral of the story is naps and pizza can make you feel like a completely new person. And then before I went to bed, I checked my email and I had an email from a girl named Sarah, and it was one of those things where I needed to hear that at that moment, and that made me feel 100% better. So I'm going into today with a new mindset and a more positive one. Still tired. I'm still pretty tired, but I feel a lot better. So I'm hoping if the pattern goes the way it has this week, today should be a good day because it seems to be every other day. So we'll see. I will keep you updated. For now, I'm going to go get coffee and it's 7:40. I was dragging my feet this morning. I didn't want to get up. So I'm going to hurry up, get my butt to school, and I'll catch up with you guys there. So I just took my class to music and we had to just completely leave everything where it was. So this is the current condition of my classroom. All right, so I just took my class to music. It's about 1:35, which means I have about 25 minutes left of my planning time. So I think what I'm gonna do is spend this time grading some of the papers that my students have turned in and cleaning up my desk. And then I am gonna stay late after school today to get the rest of my room cleaned and organized so that I can have a nice fresh start next week. Also this afternoon, I have to take out all of their math homeworks from their math homework folders and put the next unit in. All right, so it's 5 o'clock. I just finished up all my grading because I did not get a chance to get to it during my planning time or during dismissal. But I'm done now, and I just remembered that I printed out my kids' next unit of math homework, so that's 15 pages times 24 kids, so a huge stack, about 3 hours ago, and I never went to get it. So fingers crossed that it's still actually there. So hallelujah, they were still there at the printer, thank goodness. So now I need to take out all of their old math homeworks from their folders, staple them, put them in their mailboxes over there. I need to finish cleaning up that counter. It's almost done, but it's not all the way done. and I need to hole punch these and put them back into their folders. All right, so that took about 20 minutes. I'm done with all of their homework folders, and I put them back out at their seats so they can put them away next week. I've worked on my back counter just a little bit. I did put away their old math homeworks in their mailboxes. So all that I need to do is get the rest of these books labeled. So I have gotten all of these finally hole punched, and now I just need to tape them on these last couple books. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up with that. And I'm just admiring how nice my iPad setup looks right now. I have one little girl in my class who is just amazing, and I've gotten her to be able to plug them in and charge them for me every day, and I'm just so incredibly grateful. So my back counter is officially free from books. Oh my goodness, I've been waiting for this moment. But I am going to show you my library, because you would think that that would mean I'm done. However, I'm not. So I had to go through the baskets because there were some books that were not labeled, books that my kids had and then put back in. So these two big stacks still need to get labeled. These ones are labeled, but right now I don't have a bin to put them in because I don't have enough room to have all the categories that I want. But at the same time, I don't want to label them just as picture books because someday I'm hoping to have a bigger library and be able to have more categories. So I need to go ahead and get all of these labeled. So I have yet another problem. I ran out of tape for a second time. So I'm gonna have to get more, but these are it. These are the only books that are left to get labeled. So once I get more tape and I get these labeled next week, that's it. There's no more books, I swear. I feel like I've been redoing my library for literally months now. So what I am gonna do is go ahead and get the labels for the bins hole punched and get them put on the bins. I have labels on there right now, but I did end up changing some of the symbols when I got it ready to put in my TPT store. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that done, and then I will catch up with you guys before I end up leaving. So this is probably a sign that I should stop working and go home because I just hole punched all of these, which is great. And then I realized that some of them, like this, go on those black containers that are up at the top, so they don't need to be hole punched, they just get taped on. So now I have a dilemma. Do I just tape them on anyway and deal with the holes, or do I go ahead and reprint and laminate them? All right, I'm about to head out of here, so I thought I'd give you kind of a room update to show you that I actually have been doing stuff. I swear, my back counter is finally clean. So is the back of my guided reading table. I know it looks like a mess, but I swear this is clean for that. These are the books that I still need to label. So I'm gonna leave them here, even though I'll probably just move them Monday morning when I come in, but hopefully leaving them here will force me to get them labeled. My student desks have their math homework folders. My library looks pretty good. I ended up not changing the labels on these black bins. I'm going to reprint them, relaminate them, recut them out, and put them on next week, but the rest of my library looks okay. And my desk is in pretty good shape. Everything is cleared off. This bag I'm taking home with me over the weekend. I have Scholastic orders, I have books for my guided reading groups, and down here I have some stuff that I'm going to show in my next video. So I know this vlog has been a little bit of an emotional roller coaster. I've literally gone back and forth between having bad days and having good days and back to having bad days, but realistically that's what I go through, and at the end of the day, I love my job, I love teaching, and I can't imagine myself doing anything else. So even though there are hard days, there are rough days, there are days that I cry more than I would like to admit, but it is completely worth it. So on that note, I am gonna get out of here because it's almost 8 o'clock. I need to eat dinner, I need to edit this vlog, get it put up on YouTube, and I'm getting up early tomorrow because I'm going to one of my current students and former students' martial art belt testing. So please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. It really helps me out. Subscribe to me if you haven't already so you don't miss any future videos. And I will catch up with you guys this Sunday. I'm going to be filming my question and answer video, and it should be up this weekend. So thank you so much for watching. As always, I appreciate you guys more than you realize, and I will catch you in my next video.